How's it going, my peeps, and welcome to the 7th installment of the WWE 2K14 Wishlist series. So far, we've covered a bunch of topics from the roster, which superstars you'd like to see added to the game, the movesets, which new moves or moves you'd like to see brought back, match types, which match types you'd like to see added, and match types brought back. We've covered, like I said, a variety of topics, and today, as you can tell from the title, we're going to be talking about DLC. That's right, the game's not out yet, but we're talking about DLC, but that's not all that unusual because they usually announce the DLC anyways before the game comes out. I thought, why not cover the DLC characters we'd like to see, and also the DLC characters that are probably going to be DLC. So as you can see from this matchup right here, I've got 4 superstars that are not a part of the current game WWE 13, unless of course you download them as created characters, but they're not in-game characters or DLC. These are also 4 superstars who debuted or made their return at or after WrestleMania, which is why I included them in this video. Somebody that debuted before WrestleMania, somebody that's been a part of the roster for a longer period of time. I think they're more likely to be a part of the actual in-game roster right when you buy the game rather than DLC. Of course, sometimes you do have them as part of DLC, but most of the time the DLC is characters that debuted or, like I said, made their return either at, slightly before, or slightly after WrestleMania. You see, over the years, I've pretty much gathered, and heard that the cutoff date for the roster when it comes to these WWE video games is WrestleMania time, around WrestleMania time, more specifically the last Tuesday of April. A perfect example that demonstrates that April is pretty much the cutoff month for roster additions is the DLC for WWE 13. You had Antonio Cesaro, Ryback, Tensai, and Damien Sandow. What do all those superstars have in common? They all debuted in the month of April. They all either made a television debut just appearing on Raw or SmackDown, or actually made an in-ring debut during that time. So, now let's actually move on to the DLC I'd like to see. Now, keeping that roster cutoff date in mind, Fandango has to be the favorite. Fandango, I'd say, has the biggest chance of making it as DLC for 2K14, given that cutoff date, just because he made his debut at WrestleMania 28, which of course is in April. I'd say it's pretty likely that Fandango makes it as DLC for 2K14. Now, let's move on to the IC champion, Curtis Axel. Curtis Axel, he debuted on May 20th. Now, of course, that is not in April, but it's not that long afterwards, and he wasn't on Raw and SmackDown before May 20th on a regular basis. He'd still compete on NXT, so although he did have a different name, it's the same person. And also they had Michael McGillicuddy or Curtis Axel in WWE 12, so maybe they could take that character model of WWE 12 and improve on that and make it suitable for 2K14. And of course, at the moment, he is the Intercontinental Champion, so he's a pretty important part of the roster. Now, let's move on to Bray Wyatt. Now, he's probably the least likely to make it as DLC just because he debuted pretty late. I mean, he debuted, what, a month ago or so? July 8th actually was the date he debuted and had the Wyatt family attack Kane. So yeah, pretty late, and it's not very likely that he's going to make it in the video game or as DLC, but this is me just, also sharing who I'd like to see as DLC, even if there's not a big chance of it happening. Anyways, and finally, as you can see right here, Rob Van Dam. He also made his return pretty late at Money in the Bank, but with all the legends in 2K14, I could see Rob Van Dam being one of them. And also, they had Rob Van Dam in SmackDown vs. Raw 2011 when he wasn't even a part of the WWE roster. Now, RVD's been a free agent since March, so maybe he's gonna make the cut for 2K14, who knows? In the comment section, tell me which superstars and divas would you like to see as downloadable content. And as always, if you guys enjoyed this video, you can click that like button down below. I'd really appreciate it. And with that said, I'm out, guys. See ya.